Hey everyone, the Thinking Medic here from Elite Medical Northwest. And before I post my Sunday blog, Not Baking Cakes, I wanted to answer some of the direct messages and comments that were left in regards to my post from last week. And so a couple of them involve medications. And so what I use for medications during RSI, that's kind of a big topic and a topic that not a lot of folks had some great insight on or maybe some questions on. And so I wanted to talk to you about what I use, what I prefer. I do try to stay away from talking too much about medications and dosages just because there's such a variance in protocols from place to place. But as far as my preferences go, I figured we'd go over those. I'm a rocuronium guy, not a succinylcholine guy. There's a number of reasons for that. I think the days of looking at succinylcholine because it's a short-acting paralytic, just in case you don't get that intubation, I think those days are gone. We have so many rescue airways, and for example, the King tubes are a great rescue airway. LMAs are being now used in the field quite a bit. Not to mention our the tools that we use for actually the intubation process, right? So our laryngoscopes have changed. We now have the glide scopes and the CMAX, and there's so many tools now that can almost assuredly get us that airway that if you're using succinylcholine, just for the fact that it's a short-acting paralytic, I think is a mistake. Also, I don't like the potassium release, right? So if we have a patient who is has a history of hyperkalemia, we have a patient who is a burn patient, a trauma patient, a spinal cord neurological injury patient. We don't want to use it because in a healthy person, that natural release of potassium when we have through those muscles depolarizing can actually be accommodated. But most of our patients are sick, and sometimes that potassium boost can push them over the edge. Also, I'm not a fan of vesiculations. Let's leave those things alone. Those are very harmful when it can come to a trauma patient, and so let's just leave them be. I'm a rock guy. My personal preference. I know there's succinylcholine people, to each their own. It's nice that we have the choice. Also, malignant hypothermia, you don't have to worry about it either. What else? Push your sedative first, people. The horror stories that you hear of people that are waking up while they're paralyzed, unable to move but conscious during the whole procedure, sedate them first, then get that paralytic on board, give that sedative time to work. All right, so what else here? Except in rare cases, I don't paralyze my patients. It is something that makes me cringe when I walk into a situation and I hear someone say, "Oh, the patient's bucking the tube, let's re-paralyze them." No, let's re-sedate them. All right, so that's just, you're a professional. That's part of being a professional. So we re-sedate our patients. What do I like to sedate with? Okay, well, initially during my intubation, I'll use RSI protocols for etomidate, Versed, or ketamine. They kind of, my personal protocols for who I work for allow me some latitude in that. It all depends on what your patient's situation is, your blood pressure, what you're trying to achieve, what their injury is. Any of those three are great. Continued sedation. I'm a fan of setting up a fentanyl drip or a ketamine drip. Once again, depends on your patient and their blood pressure, which one you use, but I'm a fan of either one. And then also, let's throw a benzo on board. If your patient's BP can handle it, which is one of the nice things about ketamine, is that it is a proponent of blood pressure. Unless you have a patient who is having a hypertensive crisis or has another neurological issue that you don't want to raise their blood pressure, then obviously we don't use ketamine. But it is nice because if you have a trauma patient, it can help with your blood pressure. But let's throw a benzo on board too. All right, they work well together. Watch that blood pressure. If you're not sure and you haven't used it very often, titrate it slowly. But benzos are very nice. Let's be good to our patients. So anyway, remember, we're not baking cakes out there. My post will be up a little bit later today. Look forward to seeing you every Sunday on thethinkingmedic.com. And then every day for my daily blog of caring for the provider, just my way of talking about my weight loss, trying to lose weight, trying to live healthy, and hoping you can pick up on some things too. So, hey, thank you so much for the job you do. Thanks for following, and let's stay safe out there.